We are a part of the world full of strivers. We work hard to make money so that we can have the benefits that money brings us, like freedom, choices, exciting experiences. And yet, when we work on making money, we often end up having to do it over and over and over again, which can create sometimes suffering and mental exhaustion. Would you agree? When we focus on receiving money, we can create lasting abundance and the peace that it brings. So today, we are going to talk about how to stop making money and start receiving it instead. Isn't it a beautiful idea?
Grow your wealth, live on your terms.
Hello, powerful people. Welcome to the Conversations with Experts, the show that connects you with the experts in different areas of life. Our intention is to help you be your best self and create your best life. I'm Millen Livis, the host of the show and holistic financial independence mentor. Let me be direct today. If you don't want to worry about money when you are in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, you've got to start planning your way to financial independence now. How? Go ahead and download the Wealth Planner for free. And here's the link to this download. And start working your way through it right away. And if you want to be part of the upcoming free money trainings with me, join my free Facebook group called Wealth Building for Powerful Women. And here's the link for this group. All right, now let's move on to our topic today, which is how to stop making money and receive it instead. And my brilliant guest today is Jennifer Bloome. And welcome, Jennifer. Great to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm so delighted to be here.
So I know a little bit about you, and that's why I invited you to be a guest today, but let me introduce you officially. So Jennifer Bloome is a soul abundance guide, energy healer, and Master Soul Language Practitioner. She guides people to reawaken and heal their soul money relationship so that they can create lasting peace and abundance. Building from the paradigm of soul language, she has created sacred partnership with money languages, a tool that helps her to help you understand and lead your personal relationship with money. Once you are the leader of your soul money relationship, you can create tangible changes in your bank account with more joy and more ease and less hassle. Welcome again. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you.
So it's a very interesting concept, soul money languages, soul money relationship languages. Just really briefly, could you please share with us what brought you to this kind of work? It's quite unusual work.
It is. And, so I was living my best life. I was running a business. My husband was kind of going in and out of employment and unemployment. We had a whole host of things happen, and it led to a personal bankruptcy. And it was really a crisis for me. I could look and say, yep, this happened and this happened and this happened, so there wasn't enough money, blah, blah, blah. But what it really started for me was a quest as to what really happened, because everything was in alignment for us. We had a personal financial person say to us, if you just keep doing what you're doing, you're going to have more than enough to satisfy all your goals. And
that was a financial advisor who said this?
That was a financial advisor. And then we went through some very difficult years, and it was all gone. And I think, I'm a smart woman, right? I understand how to work with money, and yet it was all gone. And what that did for me was it led me to this question of, well, there must be something more. And that led me to soul language, which is an amazing paradigm. And that led me to really understand the connection between how I'm connected with my soul and how my soul is connected with money. And that is what opened up this whole new arena of work for me, and started where I am today.
Very interesting. So something that you said, I would like to ask you to clarify. When you say how I am connected to my soul and how my soul is connected to the money, so which implies that I am not my soul. Could you just expand on this a little bit?
Yeah, so I suppose there's a better way to language that. I am my soul. But I can be connected to my soul, or I can be disconnected. We can either live our lives from the things that we've picked up along the trail on our human pathway, or we can live in a deeper connection to ourselves as to who we really are. We are divine creatures. We are part of the universe. We are one drop of the ocean that is the divine. And when we live from there, life really becomes very different, and how we handle money becomes different. When we just kind of walk around and do the life that we all are doing on a day-to-day basis, we typically are not living through our soul's eyes. We're living through the eyes of the day-to-day things we need, right? We're here on the planet. It's a 3D planet. We need money. We need
physical beings.
We're physical beings, right? And we need to be able to we need to get our needs met. And we've learned to get our needs met by working really hard. And we work to make the money that we need in order to survive and in order to have the other big things that we want. We want to have comfort. We want to have freedom. All of those things are really important. But when we choose to look at money through our physical human being eyes, we tend to do it in a really hard way. And when we are able to flip and look at money through the eyes of our divine self, we start to learn new things. We start to learn new ways to be in relationship with money. We start to learn the laws about money. We start to learn how to open up our ability to not just make something happen, but to receive what we want. And it can, yeah.
So, what I wanted to ask you, so there is a difference in your definition between making money and receiving money. What exactly is the difference that you're referring to between these two kind of states of being? Because it's a state of being, right? When you just, by the way, many money coaches teach that you have to focus on paying off your debt, focus on saving. And that's a very kind of muscular and very, very masculine and very, how do I say it, very physical approach, very one-dimensional approach to having a relationship with money. Your approach is multidimensional. So what is the difference between making money and receiving money when you align with your soul-money relationship?
Right. So that's a great way to phrase it, because paying off debt is a good thing. We know this. But it's our approach to how we do it. And when we look at debt and it becomes this glaring thing, debt, I have to pay it off. It expands, and B, you're going to do anything to pay it off. I'm going to work as many hours as I possibly can. I'm going to clip as many coupons as I can. And none of those actions are wrong, except for they cut us off from our wisdom. What we're looking at is where they're saying, pay off the debt, so I'm going to do what I know how to do. When we remember that the basic fact is that the source, divine, nature, universe, whatever your name is for that, which is bigger than us, is the ultimate source of our money. That's where our money comes from. and it gets resourced through different people. We are wired to receive those resources. So when we remember that, we know that we can begin to access our wisdom. So that the action step, instead of saying I have to have debt, I have to have debt, the action step becomes I get to connect with source. I get to connect with my soul and listen. And I can open up and ask to receive what it is that I want. So if I want to pay off debt, the action step is connect first through my soul, through the divine, and begin to listen, because the divine has a million different ways that it can source you the money for your debt.
That we may not even be aware of, because we as human beings have very limited imagination in terms of what is possible, right? And that's why you can visualize, and I always say, just decide what you want to create or better, because like you said, you know, you never know what universe will send you. And I also love what you said, that money is not your source. Not any physical being or any experience or any opportunity is ultimately the source of your abundance. Everybody and everything is the resource. It's a channel. Like I love how my mentors calls it. It's a channel of receiving abundance, but they are not your source. Your source is within you. And knowing this, having this awareness is makes colors everything that you do in a different light, because then it's no longer just kind of hard work, because you realize that you can do things smart, and you can, like you said, you can come from the source within. So my next question, I know I have a lot of questions for you. My next question is, for those people who develop this pattern of only focusing on making more. It's like it is a pattern, right? Because you focus only on making more. How can they switch from making to receiving money? How can they make the switch easier?
So the way to make the switch easier is to begin to really get to understand those laws of the universe, to begin to understand and create your own personal connection with money and with the divine. We tend to put money on a pedestal, and we anything we can do, but that puts money in control. When we turn and make the switch and realize that we are actually the leader of our money relationship, money has no free will. It took me years to really truly understand what that meant, but money literally has no free will. It is going to do whatever we ask it to do. So if we say to money, hey, I'd really love to work 80-hour weeks. I want to push my cortisol levels as high as they can go. Money says, okay, that's how you want to do it. That's great. So it begins with this really deep understanding that you're the one in control. You're the one who's asking for what you want. And when you allow yourself to get in that leadership position, that's when you're going to start to begin to notice that things are shifting for you. I want to give a quick example, which ties into, excuse me, what you were saying before. A client of mine was getting inspiration that she needed to raise her prices. And yet she was worried about giving the bill to her current clients. And then she realized, wait a minute, those clients that I've had in the past aren't my source, as you were saying, right? They were not the source of her money. Her divine connection was the source, and her divine connection was saying, time to raise the prices. And then that would mean that people who were willing to pay those prices, who could really see the value, they would be coming in, and they did. So it's really beginning to start to play with, understand that you're the leader, and begin to play with some of that wisdom that's starting to come through to you. And that'll start helping you make the shift.
Yeah, so when we talk about the wisdom, the inner power, etc., it's in physical language. It would be basically your intuition, right? That's how you suddenly get this download about certain things that you've got to do or should stop doing and things like that. So developing your intuition, I would guess, is a big part of experiencing this new soul money relationship. So could you please share with me, with us, how this soul money relationship impacts people experiences in the physical plane once they make the switch from making money and making money, focusing on this routine of making money, how when they make the switch to receiving money, like what changes happen in their life, in their real physical life, not real life but physical life?
Absolutely. So, number one, you're going to notice that the mental load that you carry around about money, that hamster wheel that seems to always be going, how am I going to do it? It just stops. And there's a real sense of freedom in your body when you begin to say, okay, I'm open and I'm here and I'm ready to receive. And again, you're going to start getting really amazing pieces of information, and things are going to start popping in really fun ways. I had a client who, after she did this work, got a call from a friend out of the blue who happened to be a marketer, who said, look, we need to be able to do a photo shoot for a commercial, and I love your house. Can I borrow your house for the weekend? And it paid, I can't remember, $2,500 or $3,000, which was the exact amount of money that she needed to make at that time. Connections, things happen, money pours in.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, this isn't about sitting on the couch and eat bonbons and just hope that money flows. That's not what this is. There's always going to be action. You need to follow through on what your intuition is telling you. You need to follow through on what you know to be your next action step. But it's about taking one action step instead of 1,000 action steps. You're taking something that's really going to be productive instead of sort of running a million miles an hour. I burnt out my adrenals doing that. I spent a year in bed. And then I finally started to understand, okay, Jennifer, you need to stop this. You need to be able to approach your living with money in a brand new way. And as I did that, my body healed, and there's a lot less fear. There's a lot less anxiety. There's a lot less stress. And there's just a real new sense of joy and freedom, even before the bank account changes. And that's what I think is really magical about this work, is that we begin to get the things that we've been asking for before the bank account changes. And the bank account will change, and you get all of these other parts of your life back.
Isn't it interesting how it always starts from the shifts inside, and then your changes inside got pictured out in your physical life? It's never the other way around. Like a lot of people say, when I become wealthy, I will feel so relaxed, I will feel so peaceful. And actually the trick here is that you have to do it the other way around. You have to start with feeling more peaceful, feeling that you are coming to, whether it's a project or whether it's whatever task you have or goal, you're coming from a place of power, not from a place of force. Like when we're forcing yourself, I guess that's what you mean when you say making money. We're forcing ourselves to make more and more and more. But when we come from a place of power, for me, it's equal from a place of faith and trusting that the universe will support you and will meet you halfway when you are in action as well. It's a completely different experience. You feel more calm, you're not attached to the outcome, you feel more peaceful, and you just do what you want to do, knowing that things will happen in your life, maybe not on your timing, but on divine timing. But this knowingness and this faith and trust in the universe, God, love, life, I have many words for this, will really deliver. So very interesting concept that you use in your work. And could you please share what exact tools do you use to help people to make this switch from making to receiving money?
Yeah, so the big stumbling block is people say, Jennifer, how do I make that connection? How do I connect with God? How do I connect with and really trust that it's there? The tool that I use that I absolutely love is called Soul Language. And Soul Language, very quickly, is a paradigm that says that there are 107 different divine languages of the divine, 107 different voices of the divine. And when we come to the planet, we bring 3 of those languages. These are not simply archetypes. These are living, breathing parts of you that are divinity. When you learn your languages, when your languages get identified, you are going to learn a lot about yourself, and you're also going to learn how to connect with those languages. You're going to learn how to have a connection and a conversation with divinity. And as you are able to, right, as we get more comfortable with that, the information is able to flow in a new way. So I teach both. So we identify your personal languages, who you are as a soul. And then the other really cool thing is that when we came to the planet, brought 3 languages to support us in our money relationship. So these languages are going to tell us how our soul prefers to play with money. It's going to tell us how our soul prefers to be in relationship with money. And as we know that information, now we get a really good sense of how we get to feel that inside work that's going to allow money to flow. And again, these are pieces of the divine that you can have a conversation with. So it becomes a brand new way. And yes, it's intuition. And it's also being able to have these conversations at a soul level that are going to give you information about how to play with money in a soulful way.
That's amazing. Like, I love having, I would love to have a conversation with the divine. So far, I'm having just, I call it dates with the divine when I do particular meditation. And it feels like, I'm really connected to the divine. But having the language of the divine and knowing like which languages you came to this lifetime and how they are reflected in your relationship with money, it's pretty freaking amazing. I'm very curious about the work that you do. So what would be one thing that someone can do today to make this switch? One, maybe 2. Just if you could share some tips with us.
Sure. So let's say 2. So the first one I would say is to add a half an hour, 45 minutes, or maybe even an hour, if you're willing, of something really fun. Something that's nothing to do with work, something that you are just going to enjoy. And I'm going to challenge people to actually increase that on a daily basis, because when we allow ourselves to do that, we really open ourselves up to receiving. And it is a challenge. I will admit, right? That's a challenge. For many people it is. But the more time I spend outside in nature, the more my bank account goes up. It happens every time. The second thing that I would invite people to do is to imagine that you are in a relationship with money, just like you're in a relationship with your best friend. And again, that's a little bit, it's different because your best friend has free will. So it's a little bit different. But how are you treating money? If you treated your best friend the way you treated money, would your best friend still be your best friend? And that's just a really good way to start to understand how you are in relationship today, and what you might want to start to be able to begin to shift so that there can be a deeper level of trust, a deeper level of understanding, a deeper level of peace in that relationship. And if you start with those 2 things, you're going to begin to notice how you can begin to, where in your life and your relationship you can start to change from making to receiving.
Jennifer, I can tell you, you and I would definitely speak the same language, because I personally, my relationship with money is that money is my friend. And I always remind my clients that, would you chase your friend? If he or she is your true friend, you would not need to chase her or him. But with money, a lot of people don't have the same kind of attitude, and many actually do chase money. I recently had a conversation with one very smart young lady who has 2 master's degrees, etc. And she's like, I love money, but money doesn't love me back. And when the more I talked to her, I was like, because you're chasing it. Yeah. Nobody wants to be chased. Nobody, right? So I'm pretty sure that we're very familiar with this concept in our personal relationships. But when it comes to money, it's not the same feel. So Jennifer, great information, great tips. Thank you so much. And I would like to ask you how people could connect with you, or maybe you have some gift for us today.
I do, actually, and it's a really good way to stay connected with me. So I offer a soul money relationship quiz. What this is going to do is, again, it's going to help you begin to understand there are 3 different facets, actually, to the soul money relationship. And so as you go through the process of the quiz, you're going to learn which facet of the relationship could use a little bit of work. And then there's an exercise that goes with it to help you begin that process. And that will help you stay connected with me. Or if you like to hang out on Instagram, I'm on Instagram at soul.abundance. And I would love to connect over there.
Fascinating. Thank you so much. The link to the quiz that Jennifer just referred to is on the screen. So just make sure you go to this link and grab this quiz, so you will take advantage of the experience and wisdom that Jennifer shared with us today. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you, everybody who took time today to watch us, to learn from Jennifer, to know how you can improve your relationship with money by using your soul money relationship languages. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week, the same time, the same place. Have a beautiful day. Bye now.